In the final half hour before the college application submission deadline, my childhood friend video called me. Wild cloud, my cousin was fooling around and changed my application to University A. My computer suddenly froze, and I can't change it back. I panicked. Then let me help you. He avoided my gaze. Not quite. I checked the information for you this morning and logged in with your account. Please change it back yourself as soon as possible, I gasped, tears streaming down my face. Uncontrollably, a sudden burst of laughter erupted from across the way. Oh my God, she actually cried. She's always so cold-faced. Turns out she's really prone to tears. Haha, Brother Ping is awesome, making his childhood sweetheart cry in 3 seconds. I give up. I give up. I'll treat you to milk tea. He Jiaoping laughed triumphantly. I won't drink it. Give it all to Yeyun. He looked at me with my eyes red and swollen. His tone as gentle as ever. Don't cry. I was just teasing you. It was a dare from Chuanjiao. I had to make a girl cry to pass. I didn't want to do it at first, but the guys bet some milk tea. You love it, so of course I had to win it for you. How could I ever mess with your college application? We already agreed. We'll both go to S University and be a campus couple. Wipe your tears. I'll bring you milk tea tomorrow. The screen went dark. I wiped away my tears and opened the application page. Changed University S to University A1 after dinner. He Jiaoping asked me to come downstairs. As soon as I stepped out of the elevator, he handed me a cup of chilled matcha milk tea. I was planning to give it to you tomorrow, but Chuanjiao insisted on bringing it today to apologize to you. His tone was filled with nonchalance. I don't know you well yet, but though you may be a bit sensitive, you've always been generous. I was just joking. There's no way you'd be mad. I stared at the label on the cup, wanting to return it to him, but he avoided it. Switch. Chuanjiao sipped the same bubble tea beside her. Yeyun, I was wrong today. Listening to Jiaoping say you have emotional incontinence, I was momentarily curious, so I casually mentioned that big adventure. She swallowed her milk tea, flashing a carefree, hearty smile, and lightly punched Jiaoping in the chest. He was dead set against doing it at first, but I was a bit drunk and forced him to finish it. Don't you dare blame Jiaoping. If you're angry, direct it all at me. Watching her make that overly familiar little move, I raised an eyebrow slightly. Answer one question for me, and I won't hold it against you. What question? Are you into guys, or girls? They both froze at the same time, their expressions stunned. What? I frowned slightly, my tone inquisitive. You always see yourself as a boy, but your biological status is female. You enter women's restrooms and must live in female dormitories at university. Recently, I watched some videos from Country M and became a bit curious about your orientation. Even though I don't like you, I paused for a moment. I'm that type, but I promise I will never exclude or discriminate against any special group. You can answer honestly. Chuanjiao's face flushed red then turned purple. She pointed at me and shrieked, of course I like boys. Wang Yeyun, are you some kind of pervert? The neighbors out for a stroll all turned to look. He Jiaoping hurriedly raised a hand, signaling for her to be quiet. Don't get worked up. Yeyun was just making an offhand joke. She reads all sorts of things. I calmly interrupted him. You claim to be a guy, you reject the girls' circle, and you like guys, so you're a spiritual homosexual and a physical heterosexual. So, is your feeling for He Jiaoping and the others just pure brotherly affection? The air fell deathly silent, so Chuanjiao's cheerful facade crumbled, leaving her utterly humiliated and disheveled. He Jiaoping's expression darkened as he stepped in front of her, his eyes filled with impatience and disappointment. Enough, Wang Yeyun, what kind of nonsense have you been watching all day? Even Springy is more ladylike than you. Originally, I wanted to take you there to clear up the misunderstanding with Haozi and the others, but now it's unnecessary. I don't want to get blamed by the guys again because of you. He put his arm around Chuanjiao and turned to leave. I'm off first. They still owe me 3 milk teas. I'll bring them to you tomorrow, in the evening breeze. He softly comforted the person beside him. Chuanjiao leaned into his embrace, then glanced back at me with a hint of triumphant provocation in her eyes. Left. Chuanjiao leaned into his embrace, turning to look at me with a flicker of triumphant challenge in her eyes. The streetlight stretched their close shadows, step by step fading from sight. I blinked away the unwelcome moisture in my eyes and headed upstairs to my apartment, casually placing the milk tea on the table. Dad frowned upon seeing the label. Who gave it to you? Didn't you know you're allergic to matcha? and can't have I say there I hadn't spoken yet when my younger brother pointed upstairs, indicating He Jiaping. Dad sighed, your mom is in City A, and the literature department at University A is also ranked higher. Do you really have to go to University S with Jiaping? I lowered my gaze. I've changed to University A. He stood frozen in place, his gaze sweeping past my reddened eyes, saying nothing. The phone vibrated, and Zwa Chuanjiao sent a chat screenshot. Zwa Chuanjiao, bro, I'm running low on living expenses. Once I find a part-time job, I'll treat you to bubble tea, okay? Dialogue He Jiaping, then forget it. Zwa Chuanjiao, thank you, brother. You're truly my savior, my son, my light. Social media post He Jiaping, 8 cups of milk tea. I'll share half with you. Don't just pick random part-time jobs, they're unsafe. Let me help you find an easy, high-paying one. He Jiaping, don't tell Yeyun, she's sensitive and tends to overthink things. I stared at the last sentence for 5 seconds without replying. In his eyes, all my grievances and sadness were reduced to just 4 words, overly sensitive and overthinking. I pulled out a tissue to wipe the moisture from the corner of my eye too. The younger brother stuffed a small pudding in. I suddenly remembered when I was 8 years old, my parents' divorce turned into a complete mess. The kids in the neighborhood surrounded me as I broke down sobbing, clapping and stomping their feet. Crybaby, your mom doesn't want you anymore. It was He Jiaping who barged over fiercely, pushed everyone aside, and shoved a little pudding into my hand. Get lost. Whoever dares to bully Yun, I'll beat them to death. That day, he was covered in dust and had a blackened nose and swollen face. I am clean, with only red, swollen eyes. My dad came home from work, grabbed a stick, and took me door to door to demand justice. At night, when I went upstairs to thank her, I ran into Aunt He, wiping tears as she applied medicine to He Jiaping. Her voice filled with both tenderness and pride. Good boy, protecting your little sister makes you our little hero. Uncle He let out a hearty laugh. Which sister? So young, already protecting her future wife, just like me. My dad's face darkened, but he didn't argue back. From then on, I stuck to He Jiaping like glue. In elementary school, I held onto his backpack strap all the way to school, walking through childhood and adolescence. In high school, I held onto his sleeve on the way home. I heard that folding paper stars can make wishes come true. I folded 1,000 paper cranes with the message Wang Yeyun and He Jiaping both got into S University and solemnly handed them to him. His ears turned red, awkward yet earnest. Wild Cloud, if we both get into S University, will you be with me? He doesn't know my feelings, yet his actions align perfectly with my hopes. My face flushed as I gave a slight nod. His gesture of wiping away my tears was incredibly gentle. It wasn't until a year ago that Zwa Chuanjiao transferred to our school. On her very first day, she declared herself Brother Zwa and quickly became one of the guys I was reading starting from the limits at the time and found her quite interesting. Because of my attention, He Jiaping still felt somewhat resistant toward her, but during a physical education class, Zwa Chuanjiao snatched the basketball from a boy's hands. Add me in, it's no fun with the girls. They're all afraid of getting sunburned or tired. Her play was average, but her challenges were particularly reckless. She was knocked to the ground, scraping her knee and drawing blood. Someone reached out to help her up, but she waved them off and got up on her own. It's fine, you can't play ball without a few bumps and bruises. At that moment, He Jiaping's eyes lit up with admiration. I heard a girl beside me muttering under her breath, calling others afraid of the sun, yet spending 5 minutes in the bathroom applying sunscreen yourself. What a hypocrite. Later, he said Zwa Chuanjiao was pitiful, coming from a blended family just like me, but she had it much worse. Her family favored sons over daughters, and she was bullied by everyone. Slowly, he brought Zwa Chuanjiao into his circle of friends. He would explain homework problems to Zwa Chuanjiao after school, and I got used to walking home alone. He first handed Zwa Chuanjiao a chocolate ice cream, then gave me the little pudding bar. He accepted Zwa Chuanjiao's black paper crane, and my jar of paper stars was moved from the desk into a corner of the cabinet. I couldn't bear to leave him, reaching out time and again to grasp his sleeve. He sighed instead. Senior year of high school, Chen Jiao, and how Z still want to push a little harder. I want to help them. Stop being so jealous all the time. Will you be a little more understanding, please? I had to let go. As if seeing the fading shadows of my parents from years past, I had intended to wait quietly and let this connection fade away naturally. In December, Chinmin, who sat in front of me, suddenly burst into tears during lunch break and fainted. 3. It started with the dare that Sui Chunjiao assigned to Haozi. Tell the ugliest girl in the class, you look very pretty today and won't have trouble getting married. Haozi hesitated, so she pointed at Chinmin. The moment those words were spoken, Chinmin froze completely. The boys burst into laughter. Sui Chunjiao laughed the loudest, slapping the table as she watched the spectacle. We're just kidding. Chen Mingqiang forced a smile and muttered, crazy, you're crazy, before lowering his head and slumping over. In the end, he ended up in the school infirmary. I found he japping. That joke went too far. What's so too far about that? Don't you girls always say Haozi is as black as charcoal and Ajia is especially fat? Guys never make a fuss about it. Why do you girls blow up at the slightest touch? I get it. I need to get a rabies shot before talking to you. He froze for 2 seconds, his expression darkening. Are you calling me a dog? I was just joking. Seeing him clench his fist, I immediately said, I'm sorry for being harsh earlier. What can I do to earn your forgiveness? He understood that I was just trying to counter his argument, not to insult him maliciously. Her expression softened slightly, but her tone remained unchanged. Yeyun, Chinmin herself didn't say much. You're just being overly sensitive. Chunjiao is straightforward and has always been comfortable around boys, so she doesn't understand the subtle complexities between girls. It's nothing personal, everyone's under a lot of pressure in senior year, don't dwell on small things and ruin the mood. He paused at the door and looked back. This afternoon, I'll have Chunjiao treat everyone to milk tea as an apology. Before Sui Chunjiao could say anything, He Jiaoping had already smoothed over all her mistakes. In the afternoon, Sui Chunjiao went around handing out milk tea to everyone. When it was Chinmin's turn, she laughed heartily. Don't take it to heart, sis, I'm a bit rough around the edges and don't really get those subtle nuances, so please don't mind me. Chinmin could only manage a faint, forced smile. She came up to me empty-handed. Oops, sorry about that, I miscounted and got one less. She clasped her hands together and made a funny face at me. Yun, you're not mad at me, are you? Please don't cry, I can't handle it when girls cry. Haozi stirs up the crowd. Swagu, you're done. You made Ping Ji's childhood sweetheart cry. 10 laps around the track tonight. She reached out and placed her hand on He Jiaoping's shoulder. Bro, you're not seriously going to ditch your friends for a girl and rip off your buddy, are you? He didn't push me away, just gave me a calm, sweeping glance. I quietly wrote down every single word they said. When the third dare came up, I opened my notebook and was shocked to find all the designated victims were quiet girls who didn't know how to fight back and were on good terms with me. Seeing the fear in their eyes, I remembered the humiliated 8-year-old version of myself. I took them to see our homeroom teacher. The class meeting lasted for 2 full periods. Some students, don't take out your frustration over struggling to learn or having temporary poor grades by bullying those who perform well. You should refocus your efforts on your studies. Nothing is a joke. If it causes others pain, it's school bullying. After the class meeting, Sui Chunjiao and the others were taken aside for one-on-one reprimands. The group fell silent, yet began to completely ignore me. Only He Jiaoping treated me as usual, occasionally even defending Sui Chunjiao in his capacity as the elder brother. She just speaks her mind without any ill intent, so don't take it to heart. If she misbehaves again next time, I'll teach her a lesson. Then, I waited for the big adventure that made me cry, and the lesson of giving her 4 cups of milk tea. He never knew that my tears that day were never from the hurt or grievance of being teased by my childhood friend. But finally seeing clearly, the little hero who once saved me from bullying is now completely unrecognizable. My connection with He Jiaoping has come to an end, but I never imagined the moment of complete separation would come so quickly. The next morning, Mom sent a message. Yun, your favorite mystery writer is holding a book signing event in City A this weekend. Are you coming? I excitedly agreed. She immediately booked me a ticket for the afternoon train, walking out with my suitcase. I ran into Aunt He, who greeted me with a warm smile. Where should Yun go for fun? Jiaoping mentioned going to H City next week. Would you like to join us? Sui Chunjiao transferred here from H City. Once you all go to S University, you'll be far from H City. Take advantage of being close now and visit a couple more times. That kid is out having fun all day now, never home. When you're at S University, keep an eye on him for me. Auntie He is my birth mother's best friend. She has always looked after me and always shares good things with me. I spoke frankly. Auntie, I applied to University A, and I'm heading to City A for a visit now. She paused briefly, then offered a gentle, soft smile. That's good. Your mother has been working hard in City A all on her own. For the past 3 or 4 years, she's only been able to see you over video calls. Once you're at University A, you and your daughter will have plenty of time to spend together." After saying goodbye to her, I casually opened my social media feed in the taxi, came across Wu Chunjiao's 9-grid post. In the board game shop, a group of boys were laughing and roughhousing, while she leaned carefree into He Jiaping's arms with a bright smile. Caption: "Youth is about hanging out and having fun with your buddies. Long live friendship." Howsie's review: "Have you blocked the tattletale yet? Don't let Ping get dragged back by his mom." The next moment, the grid vanished. I gave a speechless smile and blocked them one by one. 5. On the day of the book signing, the sky was clear and bright, with an unusually intense heat. Stepping into the venue, the cool air washed over me, and I finally felt alive again. The guy in front of me was holding the same limited collector's edition as mine. I gently patted his shoulder and asked him for the book's catalog number. 22. What a coincidence. I'm 23. For eyes met, each reflecting an unexpected understanding and smile in the other's gaze. "My name is Feng Xinian. Are you also a college student?" "Wang Yeyun, a University Reserve cadet." "Me too. Computer science at University A." He puffed out his chest, then immediately slumped his shoulders. "Actually, I've always wanted to study literature, but once I started writing, I realized my writing skills weren't good enough. My work sounded like a manual, so I had to go the practical route and choose science." I gave a small, knowing smile. "I'm in the literature department." His eyes instantly lit up. We chatted non-stop, from detective novels to the ghost stories of University A. By the time the book signing ended, he was already enthusiastically planning a route to show me around the entire city of A. Sometime later, Dad said the admission letter from University A had arrived at home. I told Feng Xinian that I was returning to N City and agreed to meet again when the new semester started. But just as I arrived home and was opening the door, I suddenly received a private message from him. "Can I come visit you in a few days?" I had just agreed when a familiar voice suddenly came from behind me. "Wang Yeyun, you're finally back." I nodded sideways at He Jiaping and prepared to push the door open. He opened his mouth to speak but was interrupted by a figure rushing over. "Jiaping, hurry up. Howsie is waiting for us." "It's Wu Chunjiao." She saw me and let out a cold laugh. "The tattletale's back. Looks like you can't hang out with us today, bro. I better get out of here before your mom gets back." He Jiaping's expression darkened, his tone tinged with displeasure. "Wang Yeyun, you don't like Chunjiao and Hausi, and I've never forced you to, but why did you secretly tell my mom? Now my mom won't let me hang out with them anymore. Are you happy? Do you have to force me to only be with you? That's so selfish. Go explain things to my mom right now, or you'll be registering for school alone when the semester starts." He angrily grabbed Wu Chunjiao's arm and stormed off. I was completely baffled. My younger brother peeked out from behind the door. "Sis, stay away from He Jiaping." I looked at him in surprise. "Didn't you used to call him Brother Jiaping? He used to be a good guy, but now my mom won't let me hang out with him." I immediately closed the door and listened to him share the gossip. That day at the board game cafe, Wu Chunjiao's father suddenly burst in and publicly berated her. She didn't want to take care of her younger brother at home, so she gave him a used phone and sneaked out to play, then rushed back before her parents got off work to pretend everything was normal. But her father unexpectedly came home that day and found his eldest daughter missing, his son glued to his phone, and his homework completely untouched. Her father was so enraged that he immediately declared he would stop paying her college tuition, forcing her to earn a living on her own. Another look at his daughter mingling with a group of boys, he concluded that the boys were luring and corrupting her. They went door to door, accusing their son of harboring improper intentions towards Wu Chunjiao. A lifetime of dignity and gentleness, and he was publicly humiliated, unable to respond, her face pale with embarrassment, enduring profound humiliation. Later, while taking a walk, she happened to meet her homeroom teacher and wanted to seek some educational advice, but unexpectedly learned that He Jiaping and others had previously carried out covert bullying on classmates under the guise of a dare ante. He was utterly heartbroken, unable to believe that her once well-behaved and sensible son had turned bad. Upon returning home, I immediately confiscated all his pocket money and strictly forbade him from associating with Wu Chunjiao and the others. So it wasn't banned after all. Adults have to work, so they can't really be illegally imprisoned. After all, their money has already been confiscated. What does that have to do with me? My brother lowered his voice. They say you're the One who snitched. That day, Mom asked me to go to the He family's house to pick up something, but when I stood outside, I overheard a group of people cursing you. You're just jealous they have friends, still saying you've been using tears to act pitiful since childhood, forcing everyone to give in to you, such a princess complex. Hey Jiaping, he didn't refute anything from beginning to end. I didn't speak. But the cicadas outside the window suddenly grew unusually loud. Sister, stay away from them in the future. A few days later, I began to suspect my younger brother was possessed by a crow spirit. While showing Feng Xinian around the tourist spots, I unexpectedly ran into Zui Chuanjiao, who was working at a milk tea shop. I initially intended to pretend not to know her, but when I took the milk tea, I noticed the color was off and caught a whiff of artificial matcha flavoring. This cup isn't mine. Zui Chuanjiao immediately raised her voice, her tone exaggerated and aggrieved. Princess, you can verify the order number. Please don't file a complaint against me without reason. I worked so hard to land this part-time job. If I get fired, I won't have the tuition to go to college. Passers-by turned to look. I suppressed the annoyance in my heart and turned to another store employee. I ordered a caramel milk tea, but this one is matcha. Zui Chuanjiao tilted her head and smiled softly. Matcha milk green tea is also a signature bestseller. Sister Yayan, surely you're not going to nitpick over such a small thing. Being easygoing and generous makes you more likable. I held back Feng Xinian, who wanted to step forward, and spoke calmly. I'm allergic to matcha. Drinking it would cause breathing difficulties and a full-body rash. Are you trying to take down a whole store with a part-time job? Her expression stiffened, then she let out a soft sigh, her face filled with helplessness. Yeyun, you're always saying you can't eat this or drink that. Worried about allergies one moment and breakouts the next. It's exhausting for everyone to have to accommodate you all the time. Can your highness show a little leniency today? To this rough commoner who's been hardened by life, Feng Xinian stepped forward to cut short her performance. What's your employee ID number? She was taken aback for a moment. I let out a cold laugh and pointed at the poster on the wall. It's fine if you don't want to say. The store manager's contact information is posted over there, and the entire store is under surveillance. Let me recap what just happened. You made the wrong order, ignored the customer's allergy restrictions, and then claimed their request was unreasonable. With the surveillance footage as evidence, I will file a complaint with the Commerce Department to protect my rights. The color drained from her face instantly, leaving her flustered and at a loss. Just then, someone bumped into me and pushed me aside. He Jiaoping quickly stepped in front of Zui Chuanjiao, glaring at me angrily. Wang Yeyun, you did that on purpose, didn't you? You ruined the tutoring job I helped Chuanjiao find, and now that she's working hard making milk tea, you have to bring people here to pick a fight. I looked up calmly. My cousin is aiming for the top computer science program at university and nationwide. He doesn't need a tutor who barely made the cut through adjustment and specializes in a niche, unpopular field. Then he looked at Zui Chuanjiao again. Remake a correct one, and I won't file a complaint. Zui Chuanjiao tugged at He Jiaoping's sleeve, her eyes slightly red, forcing a cheerful demeanor. Bro, forget it. It's my fault for not being skilled enough. I shouldn't have messed up the order and made Sister Yayan angry. I just want to earn a little money for my tuition properly, finish university, and not cause you any trouble. She bit her lower lip and angrily poured the matcha milk tea down the sink, the green liquid splashing everywhere. He Jiaoping looked at me, his eyes filled with disappointment, calculating every detail, forcing others to bow down. Are you satisfied now, Yeyun? How did you become like this? I spoke with a sarcastic tone. Yeah, I might lose my life from a matcha allergy, but she lost her part-time job. He Jiaoping stiffened, a flicker of concern passing through his eyes, but he said aloud, she made a mistake with the order by accident. It's not like you drank it anyway. Can't you be a little more understanding? Zui Chuanjiao presented the caramel milk tea with both hands, her eyes downcast, and said timidly, don't be angry, Yeyun. Jiaoping just has a straightforward and stubborn way of speaking. He doesn't really blame you. Please, I beg you, don't file a complaint. I really can't afford to lose this job. I was about to take it, but Feng Xinian reached out first, carefully inspecting it before handing it to me. He Jiaoping watched Feng Xinian warily. Who are you? I've never seen you around Yeyun before. I gave a faint smile. Friend, a top student in the computer science department at University A. His expression darkened further. Feng Xinian and I turned and left, the conversation behind us carried by the wind. Jiaoping, thank you for always protecting me, but since you and Yayan agreed to be the university couple, should I keep my distance to avoid her misunderstanding? It's not about you, she's just become arrogant, narrow-minded, and biased lately. I'll gradually help her correct that in the future. The voice was deliberately raised, as if meant for my ears. Fong Sinian looked utterly bewildered. Sweet couple, I didn't look back, just chuckled softly. Love's labor lost. 7. After a week of playing, Fong Sinian boarded the high-speed train back to City A. Before leaving, they gave me a wooden bookmark. I made it with a carving machine. Hope you like it. I happily accepted it with thanks. Back in the bedroom, she saw the storage box in the corner and couldn't help but let out a soft sigh. In the box, filled with all the gifts He Jiaping has given me over the years, a bookmark of pressed flowers and leaves, made by his own hands, the health charm he brought back for me from his trip to Japan, the out-of-print vintage book he saved up to buy for me, the custom bookplate he had made, engraved with my name. However, all that thoughtfulness came to a halt half a year ago. Even my 18th birthday was hastily and carelessly brushed aside that day. I waited for him on purpose after he finished tutoring Zhua Chuanjiao, wanting to pull him along to go home and eat cake together, but I went to the restroom, and the two of them left together. I still went home alone. The next day, he handed me a box with a look of shame. Happy birthday. I'm sorry, yesterday, her stepmother urged her to go back and take care of her brother, so I had to give her a ride on my bike first. You have no idea, she's never had a proper birthday celebration. Only when it's her brother's birthday can she get a bite of cake. His tone was full of pity. I looked down at the pen and laughed silently. It was Auntie's usual brand, with her preferred E-nib, not the EF fine nib I favored. This was just something he took from his mother to fob me off with. I could just throw it away, but my heart ached a little looking at the out-of-print book. Forget it, I'll just give it away to whoever needs it in the future. I pushed the box under the bed. 8. On the day I left for University A, Dad took time off work and brought my younger brother to see me off at the high-speed rail station. I reminded my brother, Zhua Chuanjiao is obsessed with He Jiaping, and their entanglement won't end easily. Stay away from them. His eyes were slightly red, and he patted his chest to assure her, don't worry, sis, I'll keep myself safe and take good care of Mom and Dad. If they cause any trouble, I'll let you know right away. I waved goodbye, watching my father bow his head and wipe away tears, while my younger brother stood on tiptoe, gently patting his back. The tip of the nose suddenly stung, and tears began to well up at the corners of the eyes. It suddenly dawned on me that I was walking away from the figure who had shielded me for 18 whole years. From now on, I am a fully independent adult. On the 3rd day of the new semester, my younger brother called me. Sis, you were absolutely right. He Jiaping and Zhua Chuanjiao have both gone crazy. I was stunned. What happened? He Jiaping went to University to check in, waited for you all day without seeing you, rushed back overnight to block the door, and asked where you had gone. Dad was so annoyed he wanted to beat him up. I remembered what you said and quietly leaked the news to Zhua Chuanjiao. His buddies arrived incredibly fast. Someone opened their mouth to curse at you, but Dad opened the door holding a kitchen knife, which shut them up on the spot. Later, they started trying to set him up with Zhua Chuanjiao, hoping he would let you go for good. Then He Jiaping said, I'm not gay. Ha 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 ha. Zhua Chuanjiao's face instantly turned as dark as a pot bottom. She, in a fit of anger, tried to force a kiss on He Jiaping, scaring him into turning around and running back home. Zhua Chuanjiao chased after them and tried to force her way in, only to be scolded to tears by Aunt He. In the end, everyone was driven away by the property management. I'm a bit sorry I couldn't be there to witness it in person. Was it caught on the door camera? If so, send me a copy. Yes, I'll send it to you in a moment. Later. Auntie He brought He Jiaping to apologize at our door. He looked terrible, eyes bloodshot and utterly exhausted, and insisted that Dad tell him where you were, and he was so furious she slapped him right across the face. She asked him, if you like her, why do you let her walk home from school alone every day? Why did you give all your summer job earnings to Zhua Chuanjiao? Why don't you prepare a birthday gift and just take her pen to make excuses? I suddenly remembered the graduation gift Aunt He gave me, a book and an EF ballpoint pen. He broke down in tears, repeating that he likes you, but it's just taking care of a brother. The aunt slapped him again, scolding him for turning brotherhood into a fraternity, unworthy of you. Let him reflect on his actions. When he comes to his senses, then tell him where you are. My younger brother's voice sounded hesitant. Dad asked me to remind you to buy some self-defense items. If he comes looking for you, run to a crowded place. I said calmly, "It's fine, he wouldn't go that far." On the eve of National Day, I saw he japping downstairs in the dormitory. In just a few short months, he has grown much thinner and more haggard, hair cut short, dark circles hanging under the eyes, gaze weary and hollow, no longer showing the former bold and spirited demeanor. Seeing me, he silently handed me a cup of milk tea. My roommate looked at me curiously. "Yeyun, do you know him, an old friend?" "It's fine, you can go upstairs first." My roommate left, but his hand remained stubbornly outstretched. I glanced at the label, caramel milk tea, iced, 30% sugar. He didn't get it wrong this time, but I didn't want to take it. "Thanks, I'm not thirsty." A moment later, he withdrew his hand dejectedly. "Why, my mom told me you changed your application to University A." I thought she was joking. "Just because of that dare." I nodded, sort of. "Wild Cloud, I already apologized to you that time. Why did you still break the agreement? Was it worth ruining your future just because of my joke, so that I'd feel guilty about you forever?" I couldn't help but laugh out loud. "First, you were the one who broke the contract. You were the one who recklessly played with my aspirations and turned my physical flaw into a joke to amuse your friends. Can a casual apology erase your arrogance and cruelty with a single stroke? Second, the literature department at University A ranks higher than University S, so how could it possibly ruin anything? Or, if I just say sorry to you now, can you leave?" He was speechless, his eyes slowly welling up with tears. "Yeyun, do you really not want me anymore? Why aren't there any tears in your eyes? Do you know how much I miss you?" Every day during summer vacation, while tutoring others, I kept thinking about saving money to buy that rare edition of Wild Path you've been longing for, just hoping you'd be a little happier. You just threw me away without a word. You're truly heartless." I watched quietly as the mix of grievance, resentment, and desperate longing played across his face, yet not a single ripple stirred in my heart. I only felt a touch of weariness. "Didn't all your tutoring wages go towards Suichunjiao's tuition?" He froze, hastily trying to explain. "No, that's just my mom's wild guess. Everyone just went to work together to encourage her. We all kept our own wages." "I can transfer the money to you right now. Believe me?" I asked calmly in return. "Are you telling the truth now? Or is this another big adventure?" He suddenly broke down, covering his face and sobbing uncontrollably. No, Yeyun, please believe me." I let out a sigh. He japping, "Trust is precious and rare. You've repeatedly taken my sincerity for granted and allowed others to hurt me. How can you still expect me to treat you the same as before? But I only made that one mistake. Can't I be forgiven? Can't you give me another chance?" I suddenly changed the subject. "Do you know why Zhua Chunjia transferred schools?" 9. He japping numbly lowered his hand. "She said her dad got transferred for work, so they had to move and she had to change schools. And also," a cold sneer curled at the corners of my lips, "and did she also say that she was isolated and ostracized by the girls at her previous school, and that she only felt comfortable hanging out with the more easygoing boys?" "Right," he nodded in panic, his body stiffening slightly. "It's all a lie. She was expelled from the school." A girl from the dorm next to mine, who was in the same class as her in the first year of high school, told a story. After Zhuichunjiao's sworn brother was rejected when he confessed his feelings, she took the initiative to lead a group of buddies in playing a game of truth or dare, specifically targeting the girl who had turned him down. The girl wore braces, and her dare was to have a boy stand at the front of the classroom and loudly say, "Your smile is so dazzling with those teeth." The girl had a darker complexion, so she had a boy hand her sunscreen in front of the whole class, advising her to take better care of her skin and not embarrass other girls. A flat-chested girl had a guy anonymously send her a push-up bra as a birthday gift, with a card that read, "A woman must learn to invest in herself before a man will want her." He Jiaoping's face gradually turned pale. Day after day, it drove the girl into severe depression, leading her to choose to end her life. Parents went berserk, exposing all evidence and making it a trending news story. School compensation and rectification. Zhuichunjiao was expelled, and all male students involved were given disciplinary records. As for why she left H City, I let out a mocking smile. It was the parents of the boys who joined forces to retaliate, forcing her father to lose his job and the whole family to leave City H. He Jiaoping's gaze was unfocused as he shook his head repeatedly. "That's impossible. Chen Jiao isn't that kind of person. She's had such a hard life and is so pitiful. Maybe your classmate mistook her for someone else." I removed him from the blacklist and sent him the news link. "Hardship is never an excuse to hurt others." He read every word, his pupils suddenly contracting as he buried his hands in his hair, overwhelmed and utterly lost. I always thought it was you girls who were excluding her. I thought she was just carefree and had no ill intentions. Yayan. I'm sorry. I was wrong. Do you still believe in her? I don't believe anymore. I'll never believe again. I'll stay far away from her. Please forgive me this time. I'm begging you. Just trust me. His words caught in his throat. I let out a cold laugh. Once you've seen her clearly, you no longer believe her. Why would you think that after seeing you clearly, I'd believe you again? I don't believe you're unaware that Sui Chuanjiao targeted me and my friends just because she likes you, yet you keep tolerating her. You enjoy her dependence and admiration, but disdain my clarity and independence. Simply because you think I won't leave you, you keep helping me, Haozi, and Sui Chuanjiao, just to satisfy your own hero complex. You may think you're thorough and kind in every aspect, but you're lost in the pursuit of achievement, becoming an accomplice who no longer distinguishes right from wrong. Trust is given only once, and I reserve it for those who truly deserve it. His face was as pale as paper, staring at me intently, trying to find a hint of mercy in my eyes. I averted my gaze calmly, my tone distant. From now on, may we both be well. With that, I turned and walked away without looking back. A week later, Auntie, he called. Thank you, Yun. Jiaoping has finally decided to cut ties with Sui Chuanjiao. I've sent you some local specialties. Share them with your roommate. I opened the package, and inside, along with the snacks, was an exquisite gift box. A brand new EF nib pen lies inside, a style I particularly like. I placed the gift box on a high shelf, and after distributing the snacks, I continued reading The Wild Path. Unfortunately, I hadn't watched for half an hour before Feng Xinyan's messages started popping up one after another. Hey, Yeyun, have you finished the outline for your new novel? The Wild Path is really well written, but I'm sure you can create an even better story. Are you there? Just checking in to nudge you for an update. I shuddered. Ever since he found out that the suspense novel he liked online was written by me, Feng Xinyan has completely transformed into a full-time reader, urging for updates, pushing me to write every single day. Knowing I wanted to read the out-of-print Wild Path, he went everywhere to borrow a copy, hoping I would write a custom story for him. With a pained look on my face, I could only reply, working on it. No need to rush. Staring at the document, desperately searching for inspiration, my younger brother's call came through just in time, saving me. What's up? On the other end of the line, my brother's voice carried a hint of wistfulness. Sis, Sui Chuanjiao's in trouble. What? After he Jiaoping completely ignored her, she became completely obsessed, stalking and harassing him every day. She also tearfully misrepresented the truth to her dropout godbrother, claiming that he had stormed into S University and publicly beaten He Jiaoping into the hospital. And he was furious and demanded that S University conduct a thorough investigation and pursue legal responsibility. Now everyone at S University knows that Sui Chuanjiao uses the girl buddy persona to pursue people, and if she gets rejected, she spreads rumors and resorts to violence. No one dares to get involved with her. She was disciplined and had to pay medical expenses. When her father heard she had to pay money, he kicked her out of the house. Although He Jiaoping's injury healed quickly, people either called him foolish or labeled him a scumbag, and they generally avoided him. However, he has now become quiet and withdrawn, keeping to himself, completely different from how he used to be. I listened quietly, feeling no ripple of emotion in my heart. Good and evil will eventually echo, and disguises will ultimately be uncovered. Got it. You focus on your studies and stay out of this. After hanging up the phone, I took a sip of my caramel milk tea, opened the document, and began outlining. It all began with a joke, a suspenseful tale of saving others and saving oneself. I hope the stories I write can make people more sensitive to subtle forms of malice. A joke that makes someone feel uncomfortable or hurt is not a joke at all. The wild path follows the wind. Drifting clouds cross on their own. Learn to bravely fight back to save yourself, so you can stride confidently toward a long and bright future.